members of the media. It has really been a great pleasure to receive President Lorenzo to South Africa on his state visit together with his delegation. We took time to congratulate President Lorenzo on his re-election as President of Angola. This has been a year of major elections across our continent, including in South Africa and Angola. We have shared a sense of optimism regarding the state of multi-party democracy on our continent, which has proven to be quite robust and in good health as well, much as we have had incidents of coups in a number of countries. We commended SADC for supporting the various democratic elections in observer missions across the various countries. South Africa and Angola have fraternal relations dating back to many years ago. For many years, Angola supported our struggle here in South Africa, and we were overjoyed as the people of South Africa when they attained their independence almost 50 years ago. As we mark 30 years of our democracy, I thanked President Lorenzo for Angola's solidarity, friendship on behalf of the people of South Africa. This intertwined shared history between our two countries has formed the basis for cooperation through the binational commission that we now have between Angola and South Africa. We will hold another binational commission meeting in 2025 in Luanda in Angola, which will be co-chaired by President Lorenzo and myself. Angola and South Africa are amongst the largest regional economies in our region, and we have agreed that we need to deepen our relations both at an investment and trade level and a number of areas as well. There are already approximately 20 South African businesses that have a footprint in Angola. South Africa's foreign direct investment in Angola has been into a range of sectors, including financial services, IT, manufacturing, hospitality, tourism, and other business services as well. Our Development Bank of Southern Africa, the IDC, the Industrial Development Corporation, and other South African development finance institutions have also extended their financial coverage to Angola. And a number of projects are being executed through their participation. The recently announced Lobito Trans-Africa Corridor project that President Lorenzo has led in and which has been the articulation of his vision as a corridor, as an economic development zone, has been positively received, and we are in full support of the establishment of that corridor. And we are very keen and look forward to explore opportunities for further and deeper collaboration between our two countries. As South Africa, we are keen to see more Angolan investors enter the South African economy as well. The business forum that will be taking place later today gives us an opportunity to connect South African and Angolan businesses in furthering our economic links. For our part as governments, we will be expanding on the structural economic reforms and interventions that are currently underway in both countries. And with respect to our bilateral cooperation, we have agreed on auditing existing agreements and memoranda of agreement between our two nations. We had already struck or entered into 44 agreements. They are at varying degrees of implementation, and we therefore have agreed that we will audit all these. And this stock take is necessary in the interest of strengthening the strategic partnership between our two countries going forward. And with respect to collaboration on peace and security in the region and across Africa, we have commended President Lorenzo for his efforts in mediating between the Democratic Republic of Congo and Rwanda as President of the International Conference on the Great Lakes and as facilitator for the Luanda process, which is an intervention to try and bring peace in that part of our continent. As South Africa and Angola, we are deeply troubled by the deteriorating situation in the Sudan, particularly with ensuing humanitarian crisis that is unfolding. President Lorenzo serves on the AU Presidential Ad Hoc Committee for the Republic of Sudan. South Africa continues to pledge its full support for all efforts to bring about an end to the conflict in Sudan. We are equally concerned at the post-electoral crisis that is unfolding in Mozambique, and we agreed to work together to enable our region to better respond to this as well as a number of other crises. Silencing the guns is a necessary precondition to Africa's ability to foster economic growth and development. I also briefed President Lorenzo on South Africa's presidency of the G20. This will be the first gathering of this group of countries on the African continent. I indicated that promoting Africa's development priorities as espoused in the African Union's Agenda 2063 will be one of the defining elements of our presidency of the G20. And South Africa will ensure that key issues of strategic importance to our continent and to our region, SADC, and the Global South are elevated during our term. In conclusion, South Africa looks forward to deepening its ties with Angola in the course of mutually beneficial growth, continental economic integration, and sustainable development. I thank you all, and now would like to invite President Lorenzo to make his own remarks as we move towards concluding. Over to you, President.
Thank you very much, President Cyril Ramaphosa. I would like to start by, on behalf and that of the delegation accompanying me, to start by thanking the very friendly and warm manner we've been received since our arrival in this beautiful city of Pretoria in order to hold this, which is my second state visit to the Republic of South Africa. The bonds between our two peoples, the Angolan and South African people, date back as from the time of our struggle for liberation, whereas while the Angolan people were fighting and ended up defeating the Portuguese colonialism, the South African people were fighting and have defeated the apartheid regime that oppressed them. From that time to date, our countries, both as free, independent and democratic countries, have decided to establish friendship relations, but mainly economic cooperation relations between the two. It is not by chance that after my first elections, that is the elections that made me President of the Republic in my first term in 2017, I decided to choose South Africa as the first country to be visited. It was the first ever country in the world that me, in my capacity as president in 2017, I visited by holding the first state visit to South Africa. The time has come for us to conduct this second state visit, which I deem to be of great importance. And this morning, we had not only the tete-a-tete between the two heads of state, but also the official talks between the two presidential delegations. At a tete-a-tete, I seized the occasion to congratulate President Cyril Ramaphosa for the fact that in our continent, whereby the conduction of elections in many cases is a cause of instability, he and his party have managed to make a transition that is a post-election period that is very stable, very beyond from the predictions of the pessimist analysts that thought that it was hard or even impossible. As a matter of fact, the reality has shown that the government of national unit made up by various political parties, apparently with different political manifestos, is yielding result for the benefit of the country's stability and consequently the economic and social development of South Africa. I also seized the opportunity to congratulate President Cyril Ramaphosa for the fact that South Africa has won the lawful right of presiding over the G20, becoming the first African country that is assuming such a great responsibility of leading a group where we have included the most developed, the most industrialized country of the whole planet. So, it's not only about the President of the Republic, but also the South African people are to be congratulated and say that it makes us proud as all we are Africans. In as far as bilateral relations are concerned between Angola and South Africa, we have made the decision of holding as soon as possible the meeting of the Binational Commission, which in principle will take place in Angola, and preferably yet in the first semester or even in the first quarter of next year of 2025. We attach great importance to the holding of meeting of such a binational commission because, as you know, contrary to other joint permanent commission, this is a commission whose deliberations are presided over by the two heads of state, not by the ministers of foreign affairs, which means with the stake high at this level of head of states, for sure we cannot hold such a meeting to deal with minor issues. On the contrary, we will take heed to deliberate on issues that will have meaningful impact and will help increase the economic cooperation between Angola and South Africa. We are interested in cooperating. I mean, we've been cooperating already, but we are interested in deepening the levels of cooperation in virtually all the fields of our economies. But amongst all of them, it's true that we have to highlight some of those we consider to be priority or even of major importance. That is cooperation in the field of agriculture. Angola has put a bet on agriculture as the cornerstone of our economy's diversification. Angola is a big oil producer, but now we are engaged in diversifying as much as possible our economy. And South Africa is a country that, despite not having big watercourses, it has agriculture very much developed. So we would like to receive and learn a bit more South Africa's experience in this field. Mainly nowadays, as a lot is said about food security. Therefore, we invite South African investors in this field of agriculture and livestock. Those who are interested can come and invest in Angola because we have available land, available water, and much willing to receive the South African private investment coming in Angola virtually in all fields, but particularly in this field of agriculture. We have identified the sectors of education and tertiary education as those ones of common interest to be developed. South Africa has universities that are ranked amongst the best universities both on the continent and worldwide in some cases. And for that reason, cooperation in tertiary education, science and technology is an area that we have identified. We also would like to have increased cooperation in the defense and security sectors. South Africa is a country that has a developed defense industry in our country, in our continent, and is one of those that has one of the most developed defense sectors. And Angola would like to benefit from this know-how acquired throughout this year by the defense industry in South Africa. Other fields also are important. We spoke about something that is new. Maybe this is the first time that we have discussed it with South African authorities to see the possibility for the South African automobile industry investing in Angola in assembly lines of some of the brands that are built here in South Africa, having in view not only the Angolan market, but all market of Central African region. As you know, such as Angola, they also have left-hand drive cars. the range of areas of interest that we have identified here is quite big, and time would not be enough for us to measure them all, but we have highlighted only some of these sectors. We also, apart from bilateral relations, obviously we talked about multilateral issues such as the concerning situation that the world is going through today with proliferation of wars and instability in our own continent, with coups, terrorism that is plaguing the Sahel region. In a big proportion of Sahel region, the unconstitutional changes of power, instability in the Democratic Republic of the Congo and Mozambique, both by force of the terrorist activities in Cabo Delgado and the post-election unrest that came up. We talked about all these issues and also the obligations that our states, Angola and South Africa, have in helping somehow to overcome this situation which is a concern to all of us. With regard to the situation in Eastern Democratic Republic of the Congo, we briefed President Cyril Ramaphosa that the negotiation process is moving smoothly, and we have been conducting a set of meetings both at the experts level and ministerial level, and progresses were made, and these progresses will lead us to hold a summit of heads of states, that is the three heads of states from Angola, from the Democratic Republic of the Congo, and from Rwanda in Luanda next Sunday, 15th of December, or the decision for soon signing of a long-lasting peace agreement between the two neighboring countries. We also reviewed, as obvious, the situation in the Middle East, the situation in Europe, the conflict between Russia and Ukraine, which can put at danger the global peace and security. So we all are part of the same planet. That's why we all must be concerned about everything that can put at stake the biggest good of humanity, which is peace and security, because it's only with them it is possible to have economic and social development. With these few words, I would like to conclude by saying that our visit is running positively. We still have some activities to be developed in the afternoon today, but in a nutshell, we can anticipate a positive balance of this visit that we are holding to the Republic of South Africa. Thank you very much, Mr. President.
Thank you very much, Your Excellencies. Ladies and gentlemen, maybe a better round of applause than that one. That's more enthusiastic. Thank you. Your Excellencies, thank you very much. You may take leave of us, and that concludes this media briefing. Thank you so much.